of their friends, essentially all the lords and the kings and princes and things like that. And Macbeth had also just had Banquo killed and had tried to have his son Cleon's killed. And so Macbeth saw Banquo's ghost, freaked out a little bit. It was all sort of chaotic. And then everybody was like sent to bed by Lady Macbeth because everything sort of went haywire. So Macbeth said he was going to go talk to the Weird Sisters, the witches, and he was going to ask them to give him a better prophecy about what was going on with him. There's a couple of things that we'll have to stop and talk about, like we always do, but there's a couple of things I want to especially talk about during this so that we're all on the same page with it. Okay, so go ahead and get to No Fear Shakespeare. We're on Act 5, Scene 5. Go ahead and get there, and this will need a second to play through to where it needs to be. So, Mark has made blow out your ears. I'm sorry.
Alack, the season of all natures. Sleep.
Will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse as they initiate fear that once our youth, we are yet but young.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 5, a heath. Thunder. Enter the three witches, meeting Hecate.
Come down, Katie. Look angrily.
Have I not reason, beldams as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art. And, which is worse, all you have done has been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that, distilled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
Music and a song within. Come away, etc.
Hark, I am called. My little spirit, see, sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me.
Exit.
Come, let's make haste. We'll soon be back again.
Okay, so basically the witch's boss comes to them and says, why did you do that? Macbeth is not worthy of having a lot of power. Why did you make him think he deserved it? So she's mad at them. And so she says, well, that's fine. I'm going to have you guys give him a prediction that's going to completely, totally mislead him. And so they're going to tell him something that's going to sound like he's safe. So he doesn't have any more of these outbursts. But in reality, they have something, they have like a trick up their sleeve, essentially. Okay? That's...
Or they tell you one thing, but you know that you're going to be.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be in danger.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 6. Chorus, the palace. Enter Lennox and another lord.
My farmer speeches have but your thoughts, which can interrupt further. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious witty Macbeth, Mary he was dead, and the right valiant Bentham, walked too late. All you may say, if it please you, valiant's killed for valiant's plan. Men must not walk too late. Who can want the thoughts how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donald Payne? Kill the gracious father, and fact. How it grieved Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage The two delinquent steer that were the slaves of drink and balls of sleep. Was not that nobly done? Ay, and wisely too. For it would add anger and heart alive to hear the men denied. So that I say, he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's son under his key, as am not pleased heaven, he shall not, they should find. What it were to kill a father, so should Filians, but these fall from broad words, and cause he feared his presence at the tyrant's feet. I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
Okay, so throughout this whole thing, it seems like Lennox is saying that he thinks Macbeth is innocent, but in reality, he's speaking sarcastically. Lennox totally thinks that Macbeth killed the king and killed those two servants. And he calls Macbeth a tyrant. Okay, not a fun word to be called. We also learn that Macbeth or Macduff has refused to come to the castle, has refused to come see Macbeth. Macbeth is mad about it, and so now Macbeth is on the crap list. Or Macduff is on the crap list. And so probably Macduff is facing danger if he returns anywhere near Macbeth right now.
One of the only things out there about all strength.
Well, and most of your early British kings were tyrants, like King George, especially whenever the American Revolution happened.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you
But I
guys,
always known him as to be called.
they did
Yeah.
call him a tyrant pretty often just because of how much,
How much tax?
yes, how many issues they have with that. So,
Julius was.
Yeah.
He was calling it a big terror.
he was. Yep.
Son of Duncan, whom this tyrant calls the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of England as Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these, by we may again give to our tables meat, our lights, free from our feasts and banquets, bloody hunts, full homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for. And this report so exasperates the king that he
Sent he to Macduff?
he did, and with an absolute not I, the cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums, as who should say, you'll rue the time is up.
And that well might advise him to a caution. All the wisdom can provide. Some angel fly to court of England and hold his message. Here he comes, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand of a curse.
I'll send my prayers.
Exeunt.
Okay, so there was a servant that was sent to tell Macduff that he needed to come back to Scotland immediately. When Macduff told the messenger no, the messenger turned away and was rude to him and said, "You'll regret the day that you said that." Okay, so Macbeth has imbued powers into these servants, and they think that they are able to speak of higher status than them, however they want to, and that would have been really looked down upon. Now, obviously, not as much of a big deal now. But definitely at that time, if you had spoken negatively to somebody who was in higher position than you, right, that would have been looked down upon. But because Macbeth is giving them undue power, essentially, these servants are kind of permitted to do whatever they want to, and they're getting more power than what they should be getting, essentially. So everything's sort of getting out of hand, essentially. Now, this scene is going to be a little bit longer, but Macbeth is going to go visit the witches, and they are going to give him the prediction that's supposed to make him feel safe, even though he really is not safe. Okay.
End of Act 3 of the Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 4 of the Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4, Scene 1. A cavern. In the middle, a boiling cauldron. Thunder. Enter the three witches.
Thrice the bearded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time."
Round about the cauldron in the poisoned entrails grow. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31. Sweltered venom sleeping got. Well thou first in chart.
Double, double toil and trouble. Fire burn, cauldron bubble.
Yes, that's where that's from.
Fillet of a fenny snake. In the cauldron boil and ache. Eye of newt in toe of frog. Wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork, blind worm's sting. Lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble. Like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble. Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy maw and goof of the ravened salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of ewe, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto tiger's children for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Enter Hecate to the other three witches.
Oh, I commend your pains, and every one shall share in gains. And now about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
Music and a song, black spirits, etc. Hecate retires.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locked, whoever knocks.
Enter Macbeth.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. Where you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves can swallow navigation up, though big corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their waters' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak,
Demand.
Will answer.
say, thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call 'em, let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 fair grease and sweetened. From the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame.
Come high or low,
Thyself an office deftly show.
Thunder. First apparition, an armed head.
Tell me, thou unknown power,
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough.
Descends.
I'm just about these voice actors. They're all volunteers.
whatsoe'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
You will not be commanded. Here's another. Welcome the first.
Thunder. Second apparition, a blood child.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
You are bold and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man. The none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Okay, so we just got 2, albeit really awful, representations of the two apparitions. The first one says to beware of Macduff. The second one says no man of woman born can harm you. Well, wouldn't that give Macbeth some sense of security? Because aren't we all born of a woman? Right? But how does that happen? Shakespeare has his way. So that's the second one. So let's see what the third apparition has to say. Or the third, I can't remember if it's an apparition or if it's just one of the witches. I think it's an apparition.
Descends.
Then live. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
Thunder. Third apparition. A child crowned with a tree in his hand.
What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the rounded top of sovereignty?
But speak not to it. Be thine little proud and take no care. Who chafes, who frets, or where conspires are, who shall never vanquish thee until where burning wood to hide Destiny Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the force of the tree, unfix his earthbound root? Sweet bodements, good.
So the
rebellious.
third thing is he's safe until Burnham Wood starts moving to Dunsinane. So he's safe, right? Because the forest can't move. So you think one thing, but it's going to be something different. All right.
Head, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Oh, boys.
Show.
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 Show. As we part.
Come like shadows, so depart.
A show of 8 kings, the last with a glass in his hand. Ghost of Banquo following.
Thou.
Okay. So he asks again. The witches tell him not to ask anymore because he's going to see something he doesn't want to see. But the witches show him all of Banquo's descendants with Banquo at the end. And so that's how you know it's who it is. So his descendants are going to become king. So Macbeth is going to sleep a little bit easier, but not a lot because he still fears Banquo's descendants. Okay.
Who art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth! Stark eyes! Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet! A seventh! I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his.
Apparitions vanish.
What? Is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give us sound while you perform your enterprise. That this great king may kindly say our duties did his welcome pay.
Music. The witches dance and then vanish with Hecate.
Where are they? Gone? But this pernicious Arstein I accused in the calendar. Come in, without there.
Enter Lennox.
What is your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. Hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3 men that bring your word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Ay, my good lord.
Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. Even now, crown my thoughts with axe. Be it thought and done, the castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate soul trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Exeunt.
Okay.
Act
So-
4, Scene 2.
Macduff refuses to come see Macbeth. Macbeth takes that as a personal offense. And so Macbeth decides he is going to go kill Macduff's wife and children. Because that is the next rational action. Naturally. Okay. So if he wasn't on Macduff's radar before, he is going to put himself squarely in the middle of Macduff's radar now. He is essentially poking the bear. Okay. So we're gonna finish Act 4, Scene 2, and we're gonna stop reading for the day. I'm gonna give you time to work on the writing assignment I've posted for you on Classroom, and then whatever time we have left over, if you need to work on a civics test, you let Miss Wilson. Oh, Ray's got it. We'll work on the civics test, and you'll also have time to work on anything you need to get done. Okay? Yes, make sure you scan it. All right. So last scene of the day.
Fife, Macduff's castle.
Sorry, there was a line in there.
Enter Lady Macduff, her son, and Ross.
What have you done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love, as little as the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. For your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
So when Macduff left, he essentially just like packed a bag and peaced out. Like he did not tell his wife what was happening, didn't say bye to his kids, he just left. And Ross is trying to hint that Macduff had good intentions of leaving his wife and children on their own there. It's not going to work out so well for him, but he had good intentions to do so. He was trying to keep them from being denounced as traitors and also trying to keep himself out of harm's way. Okay.
Father he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave once.
Exit.
Your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, aggravated nor line, the pitchbone or the jing.
Why should my poor birds they are not sent for? My father's not dead for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him.
Okay, this sounds really morbid. I know, because you're talking about how Macduff is dead, but he's really not. And Lady Macduff is like talking about replacing her husband and things like that. Okay, sounds morbid, but it's actually kind of like a nice little moment between a mother and son before they're massacred. So it's kind of like a calm before the storm, so to speak. Okay.
Just sell again.
Thou speakst with all thy wit, and yet evade wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
All traitors that do so.
Everyone that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how would thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'll weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talks.
Enter a messenger.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you know, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here, hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks, I am too savage. The worst to you were felt cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare no longer.
So this random messenger shows up and says, listen, you got to get out of here. You're in danger. I'm sorry that I'm scaring you, but you got to go. Right? He's trying to warn her, trying to get her away. Something bad is going to happen. Unfortunately, he did not warn her in enough time.
Exit.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable. To do good, sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm?
Enter murderers.
What are these faces?
Where's your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
Traitor.
So why is thou shadow?
What, you egg?
Stabbing him.
Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Dies. Exit Lady Macduff, crying,
Murder!
Exeunt murderers, following her.
Bring me where they are.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3.
Okay, so Macbeth hired the murderers. They've killed Macduff's wife and his child. Not going to go well for Macbeth. Okay, so like I said, that's where we're going to stop reading for the day. You do have a writing assignment on Classroom. It is a little bit more, I guess, opinion based than it is about the lesson specifically, but I think it's something that is a good question to kind of think about. And so it's on the Google form on Classroom. And the question, and I do need no less than 5 sentences. I got to get you guys into some writing before we finish up this year. So throughout the course of the play so far, we've seen both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth show their emotions in private while feeling a different way. Write about a time when you might have had to conceal your emotions or someone you know has had to do this. What happened? Why did the emotions have to be concealed? And what came of the situation? You can be as vague as you need to be. You can be as specific as you need to be, but I need 5 sentences. Okay, so I want you guys to practice some writing stamina, get some of that stuff in there. Okay, if you are one of the ones who needs to work on your civics tests, you can also do that and work on this another time. It's really and truly just up to you, whatever you would prefer. Okay, questions, comments, concerns? All right, get to it.